Okay, well now I finally got my camera working. This, that elementary school up there on the hill is, where Kindergarten Cop was filmed.
Alright, so the movie Kindergarten Cop filmed in that building right up there. You see that mural on the side there, the giraffe and everything? That's the original one from the movie. The woman that painted that in '95 loved Astoria so much she moved here. So she gets up there about every 2 years and refreshes that mural up there to keep it looking the same way as it did. And the equipment that you see in the playground up there for the children was donated by the cast and crew of the movie Kindergarten Cop with Arnold Schwarzenegger. You'll remember that movie, of course. Arnold Schwarzenegger was a police officer who was pretending to be a kindergarten teacher. Later went on to pretend to be the governor of California for 7 years. And according to his ex-wife, pretended to be a husband. So she terminated him. See those boats out there going out in the water? Remember the movie Free Willy at the end where the little boy's running up and down the rocks saying, "Be free, Willy, go to freedom, Willy." Remember that? Those aren't the rocks. But they look a lot like them. And the actual rocks themselves are in Hammond, Oregon, which is about 8 miles as the crow flies from us right here. But we show those rocks because they look just exactly like the ones up in Hammond. Now you're going to start getting a good view off the right side of the trolley of the Astoria Megler Bridge. Probably would be called the signature of the city. You see a lot of pictures of it and whatnot. Astoria Megler Bridge was, well, they started construction in '63. They finished in 1966. When they started building it, the locals called it the Bridge to Nowhere because, folks, it doesn't go anywhere. There's nothing on the other side. You have to drive about 6 miles either direction to see any sort of civilization. And another thing they did when they put it in, they said, we're going to have to put $1.50 toll on that thing until we pay it off. But once we pay it off, we'll lift the toll. Well, nobody believed that either. But in 1993, they did that very thing.
That's okay because the toll on the I-90 floating bridge, they said, oh yeah, that's gone. Why, you little tiny guy? Hey, little guy.
That'll be better. Thank you.
Are you going to make us
So the Astoria Megler Bridge was finished in 1966 when the governor of Washington, Dan Evans, and the governor of Oregon, Mark Hatfield, met in the middle of the bridge on August 27, 1966, shook hands, and it was officially open. And to put that in perspective for you baby boomers, the day they dedicated that bridge, the #1 song on the radio was Summer in the City by the Lovin' Spoonful. #1 show on television was Batman with Adam West and Burt Ward. And the President of the United States was Lyndon Baines Johnson. But I should say to pedestrian traffic, only one day a year be a crossing. People are allowed to walk or run across that bridge. It is a timed event. And if you don't make it back in time, they send a bus after you, which is nice, except it has a big sign on the side that says, "Bus of Shame." So all of this was underwater at one time. Everything here that you see the river went all the way over to the other side where the sidewalk is, almost over to the street. This was called Scow Bay, where you are right now. This is underwater, and they needed, of course, a rowboat or a scow to get from one side of the city to the other. Just to mention that, the Great Fire in 1922 took out the entire downtown area of Astoria, and they decided not to build out over the river so much, so they had to fill all this in. and they used river dredge to do that. So anywhere you ride, like you're doing now, or drive your car, or walk, or ride your bike in Astoria that's flat, is man-made. There is no natural flat land in Astoria. Now, if you look up in the hills on the left, you'll see some beautiful homes up there in those hills. They are beautiful. Then, right behind our hospital here, this brick building over there on the right, or on the left, I should say. Right behind that, you'll notice there aren't any houses up there at all. Well, in 1952, there were. And that was a beautiful housing development up there. It rained for about 3 weeks, which, of course, it hardly ever does here. And folks went to work one morning, and when they came home, they had a different address. All their houses were at the bottom of the hill. It was a huge landslide, and the city fathers, in their infinite wisdom, decided, we're just not going to build any more houses up there anymore, and they've stuck to that since 1952. The ships that you see out there are called bulk carriers. Bulk carriers. They carry, scrap metal, wood chips, grain, just a little bit of everything. And the reason they're sitting out there like that is economic more than anything, because they're not charged to sit there by the Port of Astoria. If they go on up to one of the ports, like Kalama, Vancouver, Portland, so they're charged anywhere from $800 to $1,000 a day to sit there. So they stay here until they get orders to go on up. Each one of those ships has a crew of about 25 to 35 people. The lifespan of one of those ships is about 25 years, and then they take them to India where they're scrapped. Our next stop up here is going to be the Columbia River Maritime Museum. One of the neat things that you can see in the Maritime Museum is the bridge of a World War II Navy destroyer. They brought it up here, up the river, on a barge. They put it on the land. It weighed 13 tons. They put it down here on the land and built the museum, the rest of the museum around it. When you go in the museum, you can climb up on the bridge of that World War II Navy destroyer and see all the controls lit up just as the captain did back in WW2. They have a wonderful War in the Pacific exhibit in there that is definitely worth a look. The yellow building that's when we get stopped up here, we always stop at the Maritime Museum. That yellow building across the street up on the hill there is our former city hall. It's now the Clatsop County Heritage Museum. Also, definitely worth a look. And next to that is, there's a roller rink in our old armory there. That building with a rounded roof there, that's our roller rink, where our roller derby team, the Shanghai Dolls, compete in that building. Of course, Portland has the Trailblazers, we have the Shanghai Dolls.